Just want to welcome you all. We're so excited to have Joey Korn here. I told him I'm so happy that he goes by the name Joey. My son is Joey, and I know sometime he's going to start going, no, I'm Joe, or I'm Joseph. But he's kept Joey, and I like that. Joey is a sort of world-renowned dowser, works with energy medicine and uses the principles of Kabbalah and energy medicine in something just some really powerful work. He's come all the way from Georgia to be with us. So please welcome Joey Korn.
Thank you. Thank you. As she said, I'm Joey Korn from Augusta, Georgia, and I'm a dowser. And the focus of my talk tonight is things that go bump in the night. Now, how many of you are familiar with dowsing? Okay, so that's not a problem. But dowsing, but you might be wondering, well, I don't need, some people think dowsing is just a way to find a water well. And then the topic of the talk is things that go bump in the night. And if you don't have things that go bump in the night, you don't need a water well. You might be wondering why do you need to come? My work is about space clearing. That's my primary work. Through the years, I've been dowsing for maybe 30-something years, and I've tried everything. I say everything I've ever heard of about that I could really focus on with dowsing: finding lost objects, finding pipes in the ground, dowsing wells, finding lost people, lost pets. Tried all these things, nothing, and asking questions with a pendulum and about anything in life. But nothing consistently worked for me except what put me on this path of space clearing. I had this just passion from the very beginning about these energies in the earth that I was taught can cause problems in our lives. How many of you have heard the term Geo Pathak Stress? Okay, those of you who haven't, dowsers and other space clearers, people who do space clearing work, feng shui practitioners and others, feng shui practitioners probably have a different term for it, but they're still talking about energies in the earth. But it's commonly believed that the earth energies, energy lays, or what people call ley lines, or Hartman and Curry grid lines, can cause problems in our lives. People set out to clear these energies, and because they're thinking that they're causing problems in our lives, but these are natural energies, and they're in nature. And I learned early on about these energies, but I have a totally inside-out perspective on it. That's why my workshop this weekend is called Spiritual Space Clearing from the Inside Out. Because to me, I'm going to go through a little PowerPoint presentation here that'll take you through that. But also we're going to focus on energies, especially focus on energies that can cause what you might call paranormal experiences or activities in people's homes and other places. And you might think, well, what do I need that for? Well, for most people, these energies don't do that. These particular kind of energy that I've learned to find and understand don't cause paranormal experiences, but sometimes they do. And but you can bet, but it comes basically from people who are really struggling in life. And that's what sets it all in motion. So if you or a member of your immediate family or somebody in your close circle of friends or extended family are really struggling in life, have been through a healing crisis or a breakup in the family or other things that have really upset them, and they enter certain states of mind and emotion, they can attract an energy that can cause all kind of problems. It causes everything else to be out of balance. And there's other reasons that these energies can be in the home too. But it can cause a lot of other problems that or that you might just see as anxiety, or I can't sleep, or I don't feel so good when I'm at home, I already feel better when I'm away from home. Those are signs that you've got energy problems in your home that can be taken care of, but you got to know how to get to the source. So I'm going to go through this idea of geopathic stress, and then we're going to move right on through the process here. But you see, I sort of swim upstream in the world of dowsing. I was taught myself, or really, I was taught from within. Everything that I'm sharing with you, at least later, it was taught to me from within. I am from Augusta, Georgia. It's not a small town, but it's a small city, and in the South, we're not the spiritual mecca of the United States. So, as I was growing up and got into the spiritual metaphysical stuff, I ended up just meeting about everybody in the whole area that gets into, that is interested in that. But I didn't have people to share this with. I didn't have people to explore dowsing with, and so I had to learn on my own. And so through the time of my dowsing and experience and learning on my own, I questioned certain things that I learned from other dowsers, and some didn't make sense to me, and some did. But it just never made sense to me that these natural energies, that whatever God is, that our Creator put into the earth, that serves a function in the earth, might have caused problems in our lives, because nature is good, not bad. And why would our Creator put energies in a space in the earth that you might just happen to build your home over, and place your bed in these energies, or your desk, or your favorite chair where you spend a lot of time, and that it might cause all kind of problems in your life? So that's what we're going to focus on now. Focus on tonight. What these energies really are, what's their function, and what's causing them to be detrimental or out of balance, if they are detrimental or out of balance. That's the key. A lot of the professional dowsers, and as I've been speaking through the years in the dowsing groups around the country and other countries, most people really love my work, even avid dowsers. But the long-time professionals, the people who've been doing professionally, let's say, or teaching about it for years, and especially about this concept of geopathic stress, they think, oh, that stuff Joey's doing is just off the wall, or it's they might just laugh at it, or they might say it's absurd. But I want you to remember what a famous dowser once said. If at first the idea is not absurd, then there is no hope for it. Albert Einstein. He's got another quote that I really love. I know very well that many scientists consider dowsing as they do astrology, as a type of ancient superstition. According to my conviction, that is, however, unjustified. This is one of my favorite quotes about what a dowsing, or definitions of a dowsing rod. The dowsing rod, and that's my primary tool. That's really the only tool I work with anymore. The dowsing rod is a simple instrument which shows the reaction of the human nervous system to certain factors which are unknown to us at this time. That's what it is. I just love the L rods. That's my tool. That's what I use, a pair of L rods. And I'm going to demonstrate it for you. I'm going to give you quite a few demonstrations tonight, and not only on how to douse and how to clear, but I'm going to demonstrate to you and validate to you that what I'm saying to you really is happening, that is real. But that statement is so great. The dowsing rod is a simple instrument which shows the reaction of the human nervous system to certain factors which are unknown to us at this time. That's exactly what it is. You know, the amazing Randy, the guy the debunker of all the stuff, you know, he said, oh, dowsing, it doesn't really work. It's just minute little movements in people's arm, in their muscles, in the tiny muscles in their hands and arms. Guess what? That's exactly what it is. But if something is causing those tiny little muscles to react, and it's not, if you learn to really douse, it's not the person doing the dowsing. The person doing the dowsing is getting those reactions. All the dowsing the dowsing reaction is within us. And there's nothing magical about the rods. It's just a simple instrument which shows these little changes that are going on within us, within our central nervous system, within our muscular system, whatever. And so, anyway, there we go. Now, what are geopathic stress energies? Geo means of the earth. Pathic means illness or related to illness. Energy, so you put that together, geopathic stress is energies in the earth that are thought to cause illness. And are also thought by many people to cause mental and emotional problems, insomnia, bad decision making, financial distress, relationship problems, and much more. And all this is blamed on natural energies that are in the earth, that our Creator, again, put in the earth, if we're assuming we have a Creator, and everything isn't just chance. What energies are thought to cause, I have up there cause, but what energies are thought to cause geopathic stress? The most commonly thought, and the most common in our homes, are underground streams, or what I more accurately call energy fields related to underground streams. And there's a difference which I'm going to explain to you. I don't think anymore. See, I'm going to walk right out here like this, and I'm getting a doubt. I'm thinking, show me an energy field related to underground, or show me an underground stream. Most dowsers would say, I'm getting a reaction to a flowing stream of water underneath the room here that's going right through, like right there. I no longer think so. I think that's energy related to the underground water. And I'm going to explain where I'm coming from with that later and demonstrate. The next most common is what I call what's called earth energy lays, or to me, they're earth energy lines or lays related to the home and property. That's what I think they are, related to the home and property, because we're talking about space clearing. I'm talking about in our homes, businesses, and other living environments. The next most common is Hartman grid lines. I'm beginning to call that the checkerboard grid lines. The next most common is Curry grid lines. Now, and that's a diagonal grid, so I'm beginning to call those diagonal grid lines. Not only is this in the most common in our homes to less all the way down, they're also the least intense when they're out of balance as its effect on us, when they're detrimental, to the most intense. And they go in a sequential order. And they also go, if this is out of balance, I've learned that if Hartman and grid lines are out of balance, so are the energy lines or lays related to the home and property. So are the underground streams. And it goes on down the line. The Curry grid is out of balance. Everything above it will be, because it goes again in a sequential order. Okay, I already mentioned that it doesn't, I learned about, let me give a quick demonstration. Could I get somebody to come up, somebody that hasn't heard me speak before? You haven't heard? We've met though, haven't we?
We have?
I thought we had. You look familiar.
Oh.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, let me get another. Okay, what I want to do is stand right here, just face the group. Face the group. Okay. Put your arm up for muscle testing. Okay, and we're in the front of the screen. So let's move over here. Okay, give me good resistance. That's good. Now think of anything that's concerning you in life. Okay, what happened?
I got weaker.
Got weaker.
Yeah.
When you think negative, now you can relax in between. When you think negative thoughts, it weakens us. You know, why aren't we shown that? So, I mean, we should be shown that as little children. You know, we accept it. We're always told that negative thoughts weaken us, can make us sick, can hold us back in life. Positive thoughts strengthen us, make us more successful, make us more healthy. But this is a very simple demonstration. Now think of something that brings joy into your life, that you really love in life. Ready? What happened? Weaker or stronger? Resist. Well, speak up.
Stronger.
Okay. Now, what I'd like, and I'm going to do a little dowsing. Show me, and I'm going to say, show me detrimental energy, or show me energies related to underground water. Okay, see if you can squeeze right in about right there. Put your arm up for muscle testing. Resist. What is that? Weaker or stronger?
It's weak.
Weak. I mean, I can really just 2 fingers and it goes right down. I didn't mean to say show me detrimental. I didn't want to put that suggestion in her mind, but I knew it was. But when I usually do it, I just say show me an energy field related to underground water, and I put her right in it. That's weakening her. It's weakening her because that energy field is detrimental. Remember, it's the most commonly thought of and commonly found in homes, energy related to energy that causes geopathic stress or thought to cause geopathic stress and cause other problems in our lives. Now, I want to show you something so that you're not standing in it while you're knowing that it's detrimental. They're standing about right there. Okay. Dowsers, I learned early on, back when the first dowsing conference I went to. By the way, there's a great one coming up in July. If you don't go, if you haven't been, you're interested. There's a great one coming up in July in Santa Cruz, July 4th week, and Dick Tippett over here is the man to talk to him about it. He's heading it up. And it's that's what brought me out here quite a few times. I was taught many things dowsers do to block, divert, or clear this energy. Or they block it, they might hammer rods into the ground, or put copper in the corners of the room, or crystals in the corners of the room, or other things to either block, divert, or neutralize this energy. And I tried them all. They all seemed to work. But since they all seemed to work, it made me think, if all these methods work, maybe it's not the act of hammering the rod into the ground, the iron rod. Maybe it's the intent. I am doing this, hammering this rod in order to block this energy. Or I'm placing this crystal here in order to block this energy or neutralize this energy. So if it's your intent, I thought, why can't we just do this with a blessing or a prayer? So what I'd like you to do is think of this, go back in it. It's about right there. Put your arm up for muscle testing, resist. Weak, right?
Yes.
Okay. Imagine this line going through the room like this. And just say a silent blessing or prayer. Address dear God, or however you address the divine. Please bless this energy line that I'm standing in, and think of it going through the room to make it beneficial to all who come into the energy. Thank you, amen. That's as difficult as it needs to be, as complex as it needs to be. Resist. What happened?
It's Strong.
Now see, I can push much harder now. I always try to push the same place right on the wrist. I push much stronger now, and you can tell she's really feeling a difference.
Yeah.
She actually changed that energy with her intent to do so by calling on basically the powers of the universe, in my opinion, to change this energy, the creation, the power, the energy. This is part of the energies of creation. Why should it be bad for us in itself? And so I have a fundamental premise, because thank you so much. This is what one thing that didn't make sense to me. You know, why would our Creator do something like that? And I have a fundamental premise that we do have a benevolent Creator. Our Creator has created us with free will and has placed us in this ever-creating universe under a set of just universal laws that we can engage with our intent. I want to repeat that last part again. Our Creator has created us with free will and placed us, and you might say, and thinking minds, and has placed us in this ever-creating universe under a set of just universal laws that we can engage with our intent. And again, just universal laws. If this is so, it just wouldn't be. In my opinion, with geopathic stress, it's an illusion. We are observing effects, not cause. The earth energies are not here to harm us. They're our energetic mirrors. They're constantly reflecting us back to us. All the earth energies are here to support us. They're constantly reflecting us back to us. We make them detrimental with our anger, our fear, our passionate negative thoughts and emotion, our emotions, and our inappropriate react. This is the most important part right here. This is what makes lasting changes to the energies, because it brings in other energies, our inappropriate reactions to our stresses and strains of life. Again, our reactions to our negative and fearful reactions to our really traumatic or major issues in life, that's what can make big energy changes in our lives and in our homes. And then, what I was saying earlier, you might say, well, this doesn't seem to apply to me. Well, and I didn't finish that, it's going to make more sense now. If you have a member of your immediate family, then it's going to be, that's even more strong, but or more obvious. But you can even have, if you're close to somebody in your circle of close friends and extended family, and they're struggling in life, and they're spending time with you either on the phone or in person, they don't even have to have been in your home. They can imprint their energy patterns, which I'm going to show you soon, in your home. And if they have attracted this energy that I'm talking about, that I'm going to be building to, telling you more and more about, it's in your home too. And that's what my space clearing is basically based on. Clearing that energy. Now, the first thing I ever found in the world of dowsing that was new, I at least knew in the world of that, that I really came up with something that I thought was worth sharing to others. I wasn't teaching professionally at the time. I was exploring energies in my yard, really, and I was teaching a friend of mine, and I showed him something that I'd learned from other dowsers. And could I douse your energy? You don't even have to get up. You can just stand there right now. What's your name? Beverly. Okay, I'm asking for Beverly's energy field. Show me Beverly's energy field. I get a reaction there, and I get a crossing there, and I get a reaction there. And if I keep going, I'll get several reactions. And I'll get an opening and a crossing and an opening and a crossing. And I was taught that was the spheres of energy around people, the energy bodies. And actually, I was only taught I would only get the one reaction. But when I started teaching this friend of mine, and we were exploring in my backyard, we got reactions in between the reactions. So we started seeing those as positive and negative bands in the energy field. And it seemed that most dowsers that were aware of this, thought that they made concentric circles, and because you can get the same thing when you go all the way around. So I wanted to test this out, but it's a little difficult to do so. For example, if I get a reaction to Beverly's energy field right here, and I say that's the only reaction that's the only band in her field I want to get a reaction to, then I don't get all these other reactions. Okay, that's the only one I'll get the reaction to. So now I want you to think of a concern in your life. I'm going to have to walk through this light for a moment. I'm asking for that same band in her energy field, and now it's shrunk into about here. So maybe from 6 or 7 feet to 2 feet. Now think about something that you really enjoy doing in life. Show me, I'm going backwards now, doing while I'm dowsing, and now I get that same band that's expanded out to here. So positive thinking not only it strengthens our bodies, it expands our energy field. Negative thinking contracts our energy field and weakens our bodies. Well, I wanted to see this. I wanted to douse somebody, like put them in the middle of my yard, douse them, get all these reactions to the positive and negative bands, get somebody to put marks on the ground, and hook it up and see this beautiful pattern of alternating colors in using different colored powdered chalk is what I ended up doing. And I wanted to see this pattern of beautiful concentric circles. And I finally did this with my friend, but we couldn't do it around a person because of what I just showed you. As we think in negative thoughts, we contract. As we think positive thoughts, we expand. And so we thought, well, we realized from just experience that trees and plants and natural energy fields in the earth called power spots. And we won't go into the depth of whatever these power spots are, but there are energy fields in the earth that the dowsers think are good for us and that are good, and they're in sacred places. For example, all sacred places are supposed to have these power spots in them. Intersections of beneficial major earth energy lays is a good simple definition, with a certain structure of water too, is what dowsers think. So it seemed to have the same alternating pattern radiating from it. So we doused that out, and I doused very carefully. I just inched forward, and everywhere I got an opening to my rods, looking for the center of this power. This is the structure of water. Again, I don't want to go into too much depth into this, but we were looking for the field that radiates out from this structure of water under the earth and these intersecting lines, making this energy field around it. And everywhere I cross one of the, let's say I'm dowsing Beverly's energy field instead of the power spot, I get a reaction here. He would mark it with red chalk. When I got a crossing, he would mark it with blue chalk. And we kept doing that from about 15 feet away out of my backyard. Then we connected to the dots, expecting to find these beautiful concentric circles. I already gave you a hint by mistake. We got this instead. Wow. That's an actual picture I took that afternoon. Wow. It took me years of teaching and presenting hundreds of presentations before I could draw a good spiral. But look how good that is. I doused the whole thing out. And so when you get something in dowsing that's totally different from what you expect, that's a big hint that you found something that's real, that's true. That immediately reminded me of something that actually drew Jerry. It's probably what led me to be, I guess it is what led me to be here tonight. Because I met Jerry Jen here several years ago at a dowsing conference, and he passed by my little table like we have set up back there, and he saw my books by this man named Walter Russell. Walter Russell was this cosmic illuminant. He did much to change the world that we live in. But most of us never heard of him. And among other things, he felt it was his purpose in life to demonstrate to mankind that we all have genius inherent within us. He did that with only a 4th grade education. He became a master painter, a master composer, he became a self-taught architect. Some of the he designed, he conceived the ideas of a cooperative apartment building, which many of his buildings are still operating in New York. He was an artist, a painter, a sculptor, a musician, poet, author. I mean, he was amazing. All kind of, and he felt that God revealed the secrets of creation to him. And he said, light doesn't travel in straight lines. It travels, it curves, it travels in spirals. It moves in spirals and ultimately makes vortexes. And so this is an illustration from Russell's books, one of his illustrations. So when I saw that on the ground, not only did I this was new to the dowsing world, I knew it tied to Russell's teachings, who I discovered about a few months after I learned how to dowse. And this is what I call my Russell connection to dowsing. So the Russell teachings have taught me to help me understand what I'm finding in my dowsing better and better, and help me understand my dowsing work. And my dowsing work has helped me understand the Russell teachings better and better. He also, you'll recognize this, Gerald. He also said it's more than just a vortex. He said everything in creation can be explained in this image right here. It's called the wave. In the wave lies the secret of creation. Notice that it's a cycle of inverting vortices or vortexes. Okay. I'm going to pass through all that. Okay. As the years progressed, I learned more and more, and I began studying, looking for energies inside. And I learned I had found so many, my friend and I had found so many beneficial energies outside, and that's what I was taught. Look for beneficial energy. That's what I was taught when I was taught from others, the bits I got from others. Look for beneficial energies inside. Look for detrimental energies inside, or do things to block them, divert them, neutralize them. Look for beneficial energies outside, and learn and spend time in them. Meditate in them, heal in them. Go to places where they exist, and like the sacred places around the world. And we found so many beneficial energy lays, what we thought were energy lays or lines, beneficial, in my backyard. It hit me one day, they must be inside too. And I started exploring beneficial energies inside, and I began finding a repeating pattern around all the beds in our home. And this is the beginning of the repeating pattern. I found this around every single bed, and I thought, there's got to be something to it if it's around all the beds in our home. And I was only at the time looking for beneficial energies, not detrimental. And then in time, I found another pair, and they come in pairs. So the one across the head, this is a bed. The one across the head of the bed and the foot of the bed is a mated pair. How can I do that one? Mated pair. And then this one up and down the middle and across the middle is another mated pair. This is what I call the X. I call this the plus. And this is what I call the head and foot lines. And as time went on, I found more. I found two angles. I drew these in myself rather than having it professionally done. I found two intersecting the head of the bed and the foot of the bed. And then I'm finding this because once I started teaching, I'm going into a lot of homes, helping them understand the energies of their homes, clear their homes. And I started realizing sometimes some of these energies would be out of balance. One pair might be out of balance, or two or several pairs. And then I would say a blessing over the people that slept in those beds, or over the bed pattern to help the people sleeping over the beds to help them help the people sleeping in those beds, and the whole pattern would appear. or either the beneficial energy would become detrimental energy, or unbalanced energy would become balanced. And I started realizing this is about the people, not about the beds. Because if I bless the people and the energies of the bed change when they're not lying in bed, then there's something going on there. Now I know that that is a human energy pattern imprinted around the bed. And I have a way to show this pattern to you. I've got a mat. Where's the mat, Jill? I forgot. I didn't. This is my lovely wife, by the way. She rarely travels with me when I do travel. I don't travel as much anymore, but this trip, she made it with me. That's right. I dropped it right over there, and then we didn't get it. We were sort of hectic getting set up tonight. Okay. What I'm going to show you is, okay, let me go a little farther while she's doing that. I want her to know what this pattern is. Why do I find the same repeating pattern all around beds? And why is it that some of those energies typically seem to be out of balance, some more than others? And why is it that I could bless somebody and the energy pattern comes into balance? And I would ask, there's nobody to ask these questions of except the universe, except God, except the Creator. What? You didn't find it yet? It's a rolled up piece of plastic. Right back there. He's got it. Okay, so come bring it on up, please. Okay. So who do I ask? The universe. And I got answers. Everything that I'm sharing with you, except the little things I learned along the way from other dowsers, it all came to me from within. I would ask questions in my blessings. I would ask questions of the universe, of God, of the Creator. No, not yet. Quite. I'll roll it out. I'd ask questions of the universe, and I would get answers and inspirations. And one day, I had we're Jewish, and my rabbi had brought in a rabbi who had written a series of books. The focus of his works was helping people to understand teachings of Kabbalah in simple, easy to understand ways. If you've ever studied Kabbalah at all, you've probably found it very complex. But he was great. We bought a bunch of his books, but I hadn't read them yet. I was meditating one day. I came out of the meditation thinking of him, and then I got this just powerful message like, Joey, it was like a command. You must reach over there to your unread bookshelf on the headboard of where it was on the headboard of my bed, grab one of his books, because I was thinking about him when I came out of the meditation, and you're going to get a message about your book. Well, I opened it up, and the beginning of chapter 7. I thought, well, that's pretty cool, mystical number 7. The whole chapter seemed to be talking to me about my work, and I could see I could put in Bible references from the Old Testament, quotes from the Old Testament to validate my work, and also quotes from Jewish sages, and I could also demonstrate some of the things that were in that chapter. I thought I had gotten my message, and I said a little prayer of thanksgiving, and tears were coming down my eyes, and then I realized, and then I closed the book, and I got the real message on the cover of the book. This is the tree of life in Kabbalah. I realized this is almost identical to the tree of life in Kabbalah. And I knew I knew very well, I'd been working with it for years by this point, and I knew I had to be missing a couple of lines, a couple of pairs of lines I hadn't found. And I jumped up out of bed, got my handy dandy portable rods, put them together, dowsed into the side of my bed and found that pair, and dowsed out beyond my bed and found that pair. You can see how confusing it would be to try to sort all this out as I'm dowsing around the bed, and I never dowsed out this way. Now I really, and here's a little better comparison. And the reason I've numbered this is just to show you how it's coincide, and one difference, number 6, I always find in the middle. Okay, now I'm going to show you the human energy pattern around the person. And then what we're going to have to do is spread this out, but I don't want to get in the way of the projector. I usually can just roll this out, but we had to fold it up to bring it here. Okay, I'd like two new volunteers. Actually, you did pretty good with muscle testing. Would you come up, please? I'd like you to stand on number 9, as long as, okay. And I'd like another volunteer. Anybody? Oh, have you never heard me see me do the? Great. About time you heard me. Okay, I'd like you to stand right there. Okay, I want you to face her. You face each other. Okay, what I'm going to show you is the effect of. What I want to demonstrate is that this pattern exists. That the average I'm going to demonstrate this in his pattern. His energy pattern, and I'm going to demonstrate that most people have a typical set of imbalances in the pattern. What we don't want is significant to intense imbalances in the energy pattern. I'm going to demonstrate that the pattern exists. It affects us. More importantly, we affect the pattern, and we do affect it, and we can purposely affect it. So. I'm going to show you, I'm just asking for energies in Dick's energy lines in Dick's human energy pattern. See, I get one there, and there. Now, if I ask for only unbalanced energy in Dick's pattern, I go right through this line, if you can see it on the floor, and I get a reaction here. This is one of the most common pairs to be out of balance. This yellow pair, these are mated pairs. When I find one balanced, its mate will be balanced. If I find one out of balance, its mate will be out of balance. And so this is, if you look up the meaning of these 10 numbers, you'll see this central part here is primarily emotional. So to me, this is emotional energy. Another one that's very typically out of balance in a person's pattern through many years of this work of finding that out is this 7, 9, 8, 9. So if you look 1, 6, 9, 10, 4, 6, 5, that's what I call the plus, and then the 7, 9, 8, 9. If you study that triangle, that triad, 7, 9, 8, 7, 8, 9, that's living your life in the physical world with others. Aren't most of our energy problems about living life in this world? Most of our problems, and don't we react emotionally to most of our problems? That's why these are typically out of balance. So I'm just going to muscle test you. Okay, you ready? Nice and weak, right? Now what I'd like you to do is turn a little bit and face like there. No, not you, Dick. I'd like you to face number 7. Remember, when I'm muscle testing her, I'm checking his energies out. Resist. What, got strong or weak?
Got strong.
Strong. Now face her again. Ready? Mm-hmm. Gosh, Dick. Okay. It's nothing to worry about. Just about everybody has at least these imbalances in their pattern. All I'm demonstrating to you, I'm not trying to prove it's the tree of life. Nothing. I think it is. I just want to demonstrate that it exists and that it affects us and others. So could I get something to bless for you? I don't see anything. You got something in your pocket?
Yeah, sure. There you go.
I do all my energy work with blessing. So I'm going to bless this with what I call my simple blessing process. By the way, we made a bunch of copies I had some copies of a handout. I do have one handout for you, but I have one that I want to send to you. I wanted to give to you tonight, and I don't have it. And I'm going to be passing around a sign-up sheet for my contact list. And I don't plague you with emails. If you don't get enough from me, probably you can maybe get 3 or 4 a year. And I don't send you jokes or anything like that. But I want to send you, since I forgot this, and I wanted you to have it. It's my simple blessing process, what I'm about to do. And another one that's one of the best things you can do to clear the energies of your home. And if you'll get on the list, the main thing I need is your name and a city, state, and zip. But your address can be helpful too, in a way, your physical address in a way I'll explain later. But the main thing is your email address. I'm going to give you access to all the files, blessing files and articles that I send to all my clients. So I'm going to bless this with what I call my simple blessing process. Dear God, please bless this, or you could, any way you feel comfortable addressing the divine. Please bless this rock and this stone and charge it with energy to bring healing and balance to Dick's complete being, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Thank you. Amen. If you want it quicker, you get that blessing by going to my website, dowsers.com, and look up the simple blessing process. Okay, put your arm up for muscle testing. Resist. Strong, right? Mm-hmm. Real strong. Mm-hmm. Okay, now give me the rock. Okay, resist. Weak or strong?
Weak.
Weak. So what this is doing, he's got imbalances in his human energy pattern, which are typical. All or most of us in this room will have that, at least. When he touches this, because of the energy that I put in there with that blessing, this will clear his energy pattern. It's like cloudy, clear, unbalanced, balanced, detrimental, if you want to call it that, beneficial. So, all I'm showing you with her is that it's becoming detrimental or unbalanced and then balanced. Follow? Okay, that's all you need to know for now. Now that will keep him balanced probably through through the evening anyway. But if he keeps carrying it around with him, he's going to overpower it. And that's another blessing that I brought that I want to share with you, that I will send with you. And it's a simple way to keep your energy pattern balanced and beneficial pretty much 24 hours a day. And believe me, it has significant imbalances. There are significant advantages in having a balanced energy pattern. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's give him a hand. Oh yeah, so we're going to pass this around, and
May I ask a question? Could you say you're married, and you wanted to, like, bless a stone and put it in your husband's pocket or something for the day, to have a better relationship?
Yeah.
So could that work? Could you?
Yeah, and I would say bless other things too. I'm going to show you some other things you can bless, but you're going to laugh at this, but the way that you can keep your energy pattern balanced pretty much 24 hours a day, close to it, the better part of the day, and I've just figured this out in the past year or so, is by blessing your toothpaste with the simple blessing process. I'll explain that. I'm getting off on a tangent here, but I'll explain it a little bit. You can bless yourself or your mate with the simple blessing process. It'll keep your energy pattern balanced for a few minutes. But you're going to overpower it with your own issues of life. You're going to overpower that. They'll return. But it's still good to bless yourself and bless others. You can also put the simple blessing process as a way to adapt it, and it tells you how on the sheet that you're going to get to any situation in your life, like what you're talking about. So, but you can bless an object that you wear, like we just did, or hold or keep in your pocket, and it'll keep you balanced for a few hours, but you're going to overpower that unless you keep blessing yourself. But if you bless your food and what you eat and drink, or something you put in your mouth with the simple blessing process, I don't mean just dear God bless it, or Father, Mother God, or Creator, or whatever. I mean with the simple blessing process, because that I've broken it down into the components that will balance the human energy pattern. It'll last the better part of a day if you bless what you eat, if you bless your food with it. But then you'd have to remember to bless your food all the time. So it occurred to me, not only bless it, but bless it with the simple blessing process, which if you do it out loud, some muggles out there might think it's a little weird, you know. You know what a muggle is? From Harry Potter, the non-witches and non-warlock, or these magical people, the normal people, regular people. So anyway, I had it in my mind, what do we each put in our mouths every day that we don't carry around with us, that doesn't stay around our bed, or on our bed, which is our human energy pattern, imprinted around the bed? By the way, you lie down on a physical structure that's raised off the floor, like a bed or a couch, 1 second, get up, you've imprinted your pattern. All of you can be in here, sitting here for this couple of hours tonight. You likely won't imprint your pattern. But if you would lie down and stretch some of those chairs out, lie down on it, you'd imprint your pattern. It's just something I've observed through the years. So, and then I started thinking about that too. I'll get to you in a minute. But I'm straying. I got to get back on track. Okay, it occurred to me, toothpaste. We all use something to brush our teeth with. And we don't carry it around with us. It stays by our bathroom sink. We typically brush our teeth at least twice a day. If you bless your toothpaste with the simple blessing process, you don't carry it around with you. You're not going to overpower it. You only have to bless it once. I usually suggest bless it twice just to make sure the blessing took. But once you've successfully blessed it, it'll help keep your energy pattern throughout the day unless something else influences it temporarily. So that's something else I'm going to send to you. Now, you had a question.
Yeah, I'm curious about the bed pattern, if it matters if your bed is facing north, south, or east, west.
You know, Edgar Casey said for most people, in all his readings, most of his readings said, I think he said it should face to the north. Sometimes he said to particular people it should face the east. Walter Russell said it doesn't matter. Some other teaching says you should never have your head facing north, pointing north. So to me, with my observation in my work, it doesn't matter. I say arrange your bedroom the way you think it's best, and it's most pleasing and the most useful, and then bless everything. I'm into blessing. Yes?
Can you do a blessing? Can you do it in a program that runs all day?
A program? Well, I have had people want to. A person has to do it. A person has to do it. However, I am wanting to design a simple blessing process app that you could put in there what you want to accomplish and how you address it in, and then it would bring up the blessing for you and maybe even repeat it, or let you hear it, but you would still need to say it. We are the power, people. We have incredible powers. We have just as many powers to cause problems in our own lives as we do to fix those problems. Okay, now that I've gotten this far, what I want to share with you is a little bit more about this energy, about what can cause things to go bump in the night. I want to go back a little bit in the sequence of going the wrong way. Okay, we'll just go right here. Actually, I know I'm going to take it a little bit. I'm having to improvise here to get everything squoze in. Okay, I mentioned earlier that I no longer think an underground stream, when I get a reaction to what dowsers call an underground stream, that it's actually a flowing stream underneath the building, especially when you're dowsing in homes. I also showed you that it was weakening to what's your name, Liz? Liz. And a blessing made it be beneficial. But my question from the beginning was, what made it detrimental in the first place? If we can make it beneficial with a blessing, at least for a while, something must have made it detrimental. So I want to help you understand a little bit more about that. So do we have a couple of, Dick, I know you're a dowser. Where's Dick? Oh, he left. He didn't like what I showed him his bad energies. Anybody know, can I get a couple of people that can douse for an underground stream, especially a detrimental underground stream? Nobody?
I use a pendulum, but that's...
You can douse with a pair of rods? Okay, let's just try the one person. Anybody else in the room? Okay, come on up. Don't be bashful, y'all. Okay, what I want you to do is, okay, I already showed you one going up and down the center of the room. We already showed you one going like corner to corner here. So let's down straight across and ask for an energy field related to underground water or an underground stream, whichever way you like to do it. See if you get a reaction right there in the middle. Okay, good. Now, we have a board, but I don't see a marker, anything to mark on it. Okay, so there's two. He's got one over here. He said, now go straight down the room here, down the middle. Show me where you get a reaction. Energy field, or it could be an underground stream, whatever you want to ask for. Okay, got it. What I'm going to start doing is drawing it in. Here's the first one I found. She just found this one. I found this one earlier. Okay, now come over here. Go at an angle towards that corner.
Like an angle?
Yeah, and just keep walking until you get a reaction. Keep walking until you get a reaction. Keep your mind on, there you go, there you go. There's one there. And keep going, keep going. I'm going to draw that one in. Another one. Now, let's try back up a little. Go straight across the room. No, and come over here in front of the piano.
Okay.
You go across towards that corner, just across the corner. Perfect. Okay. Now, if we had more time, I wouldn't have to guide her. I usually just get a few people to douse, and everywhere they find one, anywhere in the room, I mark it on the wall. But you want to come over here and see I want everybody to be able to see this. It's a little dark, but this represents the room. This is everything we've dowsed so far. If she kept dowsing, she would find one there, there. She would find one here, 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 here. And there would also be one to go as you approach every wall. It's the same thing. This is why I no longer think that's physical flowing. Can everybody see that? It's a little messy, but that's why I no longer think that it's basically this pattern that I showed you. It's this pattern that's on the mat in the room, in the energies of the room. Now, how can that be? You know, first of all, I'll go back to the teachings of Kabbalah. it's taught that the pattern, this pattern is within us, around us. It's supposed to be the first act of creation. And it's supposed to be around us, within us and around us, and it's supposed to repeat itself in the energies of creation. I had no idea. I mean, I didn't find this the first time. Two of my students did in a class. Now it's repeatable. It's one of the things you can do with dowsing that's repeatable. Now, can you also douse for detrimental energy related to underground water? Okay, see if those are detrimental. That one and the whatever else you found. Like this one. Okay, I'd like everybody, while she's doing that, to pull out something to bless. Just put it in your hand.
So just for detrimental.
Keep going. Detrimental water. Detrimental water. There, that was detrimental. And now go towards the corner. Remember where you found those over there? Okay. Now, come over here. All right, actually stand right. Okay, stand about right there. Okay. Now I could also, I don't want to take the time to do this. I could also demonstrate with muscle testing something else on the mat here. But I'd like everybody. So right now, all these strength resist good, resist weak. Okay. Look at your object. Repeat after me, but you can do it silently. You don't have to do it. Dear God, or however you address the divine, please bless this object and charge it with energy to bring healing and balance to my complete being, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Thank you. Amen. That's as complex, again, as it needs to be. Now what I'd like to do here is resist. What happened? Stronger. I'd say she could hardly hold me up a moment ago, and now she can really hold me up. Now if you douse it with rods, we already demonstrated this is beneficial. Check the one that's going up and down the middle of the room.
So just look for detrimental or look for...
Yeah, you can look for detrimental or ask for beneficial this time. Right there in the middle. Okay, now back up. This time you can say, show me detrimental, okay. Related to underground water. Nothing happens because it's no longer beneficial. What made it beneficial? Obviously you blessing your objects, but you just selfishly bless your own object for yourself. Why did all the energies, the whole pattern, this whole pattern is now beneficial. Why is it beneficial? I said it at the beginning. It's made detrimental by us. And simply with our imbalances in our own human energy patterns. The first person, assuming there's nobody imprinted in this room, the first person that walked in here this evening, there was no imbalances in the room. As soon as that first person walks into the room, take one step into the room, their energy imbalance, their energy pattern would reflect down in the room. Imbalances in their pattern would douse as detrimental energies in the room and in underground streams, underground energies related to underground water. And the balanced energy would be beneficial streams. It's what dowsers call beneficial and detrimental streams. It's not streams at all. Thank you very much. Now we're going to go through this. It's just a house plan I got off the web. This shows the master bedroom, or it's just a master suite, but there is assume there's a bed in there. I don't have it drawn in, and a person's laying in there. They would reflect down in the energies of the room. Imbalances in their pattern would reflect out as imbalances in the room pattern. That's what I call the room pattern. Okay. Now, if there are significant, this is just typical. If there are significant imbalances in just one person imprinted in that room, it'll go out to what I call the house pattern. It's the same pattern over the entire home. Okay, this just tells me that there's a more deep-seated issue somewhere, but really what it's telling me now, somebody in that home, is what I'm understanding now, somebody in that home is being affected by stronger unbalanced energy somewhere else through their imprint. Basically what causes then, and then I'm going to show you where that comes in. If there are more imbalances in the home, it goes into what's called the Hartman grid. That's the Hartman grid, and that's the Curry grid. The Hartman grid is a 6-foot checkerboard grid in the home. The diagonal grid, or a Curry grid, is a 6-foot diagonal grid in the home. Many dowsers around the world think they're all detrimental and we need to balance them, clear them. They're not. They're part of the manifestations of the life force. If they're detrimental, something is causing them to be detrimental. And the tree of life repeats itself endlessly in that. So now I'm going to speed through this. This is real important. I couldn't fit it going this way. Real important answer to that question. Okay, now this is where we're getting into things that go bump in the night. If your Hartman grid is detrimental, or the checkerboard grid, if you remember, checkerboard is a good way to look at it. If that's detrimental, then I already told you, then the rest of it's going to be detrimental. That's already, it goes in a sequential order. That tells me if the checkerboard grid is detrimental and the Curry grid is not, there's an earthbound spirit in that home, anchored into the home, hanging around the family, or a person in the family, or a place. And interestingly, an earthbound, and I've found this nowhere else. I mean, I've never seen this in writing anywhere, never heard anybody else talk about it. But an earthbound spirit has an earthbound spirit is a human being who has died and they've gotten themselves stuck in the astral plane. And they're typically hanging around because they love somebody, they really care somebody, they don't want to leave them, or they're around. They don't want to leave a place that they built or they used to live in, or they're just wanting. They're just stuck in physical life, but they're in what Catholics might call purgatory. They're frustrated, and they're frustrated because they can hear you and you can't hear them. They can see you, you can't see them. They know what's going on in your life, you don't know what's going on with them. They get frustrated, is my interpretation of why they cause the Hartman grid to be detrimental. If the Curry grid is also detrimental, somebody in that home has attracted what I was talking about early on tonight, through their intense negative thoughts and emotions that they've entered into in reaction to significant life circumstances, traumatic events, like a healing crisis, or a breakup in the family, a bitter divorce, or death of a loved one, or another thing that can bring interference energy to people is mental and emotional problems like bipolar disease, or autism, or Alzheimer's. This energy is what I clear not only every day with my remote clients, that's my primary work, several times a day. I'm clearing this energy. And there's more of it in the world now. You hear that things are amping up in the world and you got to be able to handle it. It's true. I didn't find near as much interference energy a few years ago as I do now. Now, why do I say this is even stronger than an earthbound spirit by itself? However, usually an earthbound spirit, while they were still alive, before they died, have attracted this interference energy. And it's because of the illness they died from, or the struggle in death, or other problems in their life before they died. And I think it's still partially why they're trapped why they haven't entered the higher realms. Now, this is also about things. This is definitely more common than Earthbound Spirits anchored in homes. But again, most Earthbound Spirits also have this interference energy connected to them. What happens? This is from working with doing thousands of clearings, and talking to people, trying to sort out what's going on in their lives. There are 4 basic things that bring in interference energy. I already mentioned 3 of them. The 4th one is being around it a lot. If it's in your home and you're susceptible to it, you might pick it up yourself. And then it causes your entire human energy pattern to be out of balance or detrimental. And I don't mean just what I've shown you imprinted around the bed, but you basically make a matrix, just like that checkerboard and diagonal grid, and it goes out and it would fill the room with that energy. Now, what happens when we get into these intense negative states of mind and emotion? We open a crack between the worlds, and energies in the astral plane can connect to us. When that happens, it greatly increases the negativity that brought it in the first place. It sets up in certain places in the home. By the way, I have a great article. It's the most informative article I've ever written at dowsers.com. It's on the home page. You can get a link to it is on the blog page, the landing page for dowsers.com. It's called Things That Go Bump in the Night. And it explains this very thoroughly if you want to read it, if you want to go back and get it a little bit better when you got time to think about it. They've got one more button to press. So it sets up in certain places. Interestingly, it sets up typically in 2 bathrooms and a closet on the same floor of the home, wherever that person or spirit is imprinted or anchored in. I call the spirit has to anchor in. Oh, and this is what I was going to say earlier. The spirit seems to have to anchor into the home somewhere. I always find that somewhere in the home, a human energy pattern that's totally out of balance, but not around a bed, not around a piece of furniture. Usually if there's a fireplace, it's around the fireplace. And I don't know why. The fire element, the fire energy.
I find vortexes in fireplaces.
Oh, every intersecting line creates a vortex, which is one of the first illustrations that I had up there. With the bed and the spiraling energy in the middle. Now, where it sets up in those 2 bathrooms and a closet that I call interference energy, what I call those also, they are doorways to the astral plane or portals. That gives access to negative beings in the astral plane. There are many beings in the astral plane, good, bad, and indifferent. Even angels come through the astral plane. We pass through the astral plane on the way out when we die. It's like a way station, but we don't want to get stuck. And if somebody is if a soul is stuck, they're harming themselves and they're harming the people they're hanging around, whether they realize it or not. And so anyway, most of the time, this interference energy or Earthbound Spirits this energy does not cause paranormal experiences. It causes things like increasing anxiety. It causes you feeling anxiety, you don't know why. It causes sleeping problems. It makes you, again, feel better away from home than you do when you're in your home. Unless you're on vacation or something, that's a different story. For the most part, you should feel the best in your home. It exacerbates negativity in and between people, even that don't have the energy connected to them, if they're in the home, because it causes all these energies to be out of balance. What I call these negative beings, people refer to entities like demonic forces. I don't think this is what it is. I think these negative beings, I think interference energy is a human condition. It's too common not to be. we enter into this weird human condition, and all these weird things can happen. Most of all, it's like depression, suppressed feelings, anxiety, not feeling good, not sleeping good. But if these energies are around, if these beings are around long enough, they can learn to manipulate the energies and learn to manipulate the physical environment. They can turn lights on and off. They can blow equipment. I've even had a few clients tell me that two different clients told me stories of how they actually saw the water turn on in their sink on its own. One heard it, a squeak, and then hot water started running, and the other one saw it. I hear all kind of things. Now, Dick, you had a question earlier, and I said I'd get back to you.
No, that's fine. I already answered it.
Okay. I want to make sure I'm staying on time here.
So, as you're talking about entities, what about channeling and people who do a lot of channeling, and so entities are passing through them?
Then there's a difference between, some people use entities, the term entity to be the entity speaking through them. An entity is simply a being, okay? So these hopefully are good, positive beings. One of the problems in channelings is, I think often channeling is just people's own inspiration or imagination. Sometimes it's real. I think we can attract interference energy by dabbling in things that we're not prepared for, and that can, I guess that's the short answer. Now, what I do, I want to tell you a little bit about my space clearing work. Oh, and by the way, everything we talk about, I demonstrate tonight with the dowsing. That's what we're going to be doing tomorrow and Sunday. You're going to be learning to do basically what I do. You'll learn to douse for these various energies. You'll learn to clear these various energies with blessings. I do have handouts that we forgot to bring, but I've got more I'm going to send to all of you. And we're going to understand more and more about what this is all about, and just really build on it. You're all going to learn to douse the energies around beds. We'll put tables together or something. We'll sum up something to make up seem like a bed. That we'll do that. You're going to learn to find and work with all these energies. Now, what I do, I used to travel for 7 years, 30 times a year. I don't travel hardly at all anymore. I pick and choose where I travel. Been waiting on this one for a few years, but my primary work is my remote sessions at home. And the way I do this is totally different from the way anybody else does it. Most people who do remote work, most dowsers I know of that do it, use a diagram of the home. Feng Shui practitioners use a diagram of the home too. And then they douse the diagram and douse about the energies in the diagram, which are supposed to be the energies in the home. Well, that really seemed to work for me for a couple of years, but I don't like swinging a pendulum about the energies. I just love finding and experiencing the energies myself with my rods. So it occurred to me one day, why can't I make the remote home, why can't I make my home the diagram? Why can't I say a blessing, and use the person's name and address, I put an imprint of the person's energy pattern around a bed in my home, and their home, I use their address, and I put and I connect energetically to their home through their address. And then for all intents and purposes, there's a holographic imprint of the remote home over my home. And I can douse in my home and find all the energy problems that are in the remote home. And then I get on the phone and we use the blessing process, similarly to what we did with Dick with the rod. With the rock, we identify people who are in their home by blessing people. And I see what comes into balance in my home. I remove the interference energy. If I find earthbound spirits, which I'm finding more and more of lately too, I think we're getting stuck in between the worlds more than we used to. Human beings are. because of the strife in the world. I don't know. And when we finish, it's all done. And energy problems can come back, but it's not going to be like we've just temporarily fixed it. It would be a new problem or a similar problem coming to the same people. And basically, all of my work boils down to finding what is causing these imbalances in the home and clearing the cause, not the effect. Okay, any questions? We're about time to wind up. I've got a handout here. One we did remember to bring, we got is a description of my remote sessions. If you could just pass those around until they get to the back of the room. You can pass those around this room, this side, please. Anybody else need the clipboard? Any other questions before we go? Yes.
Well, we have something that goes stomping at night and a bunch of rats in the attic. We got rid of them a couple years ago, closed up everything, they're back. Now are there ghosts of the rats that are coming back? Can I just use the prayer to get rid of the rats again?
If there is interference energy in your home, if there is this interference energy that in your home, just the simple or an earthbound spirit, the simple blessing process won't do it. Now, most of the time, I'd like everybody to hear this because the one handout I wanted to give to everybody, this is what I'm going to be sending to you. It's called my 3-step pattern removal and home blessing process. Most of the time, interference energy is brought in not by an immediate family member, but by somebody in your circle of family and extended family and friends. Removing their energy patterns will remove the energy from your home. It won't remove the energy from them. I can't teach you to do that without a lot of training. Most of the time, that will remove interference energy from your home. So I have what I call my 3-step pattern removal and home blessing process. The second step is the pattern removal blessing, which would remove other people's patterns from your home. The third step is the whole house blessing. I'm going to send that to you. All those blessings are in my book right here. We have in the back of the room, Dowsing, A Path to Enlightenment. And part 3 is everything we've been talking about tonight. Now, I want... Okay. Suicide victims very often get stuck in between the worlds. And they almost always have interference energy connected to them. What I do with them is I have a blessing. First, I remove the interference energy, and then I move the spirit on. I have a blessing process to move the spirit on. If it's a loved one, we do something together. In fact, if you think you might have energy problems in your home, if you show me your address, if you've written it on my thing, I can glance at your address. I can tell you if you have intense energy, or not significant but intense. I can tell you if you have the interference energy or an earthbound spirit, or that. But you might have both, and I couldn't tell that without doing the dowsing. But really, I can. If you want me to check out your home,
No, this was my daughter's home.
do you know her address?
No, I got rid of that.
Oh, you got rid of it. Oh, you got rid of the home. Yeah, I can understand that. So it must have been a difficult thing to go through for you. Yeah. So I can't answer the thing about rats, but people do think that rodents and pests and insects tend to be where there's a lot of detrimental energy. Yes.
I find this interesting. That's why I came to this lecture, because last Tuesday, my water pipe breaks. The whole house, my son's room is flooded, and I have a tenant underneath, and she had to evacuate quickly. And 2 weeks before that, my son said, he's 18, he's like, I'm a man, and I'm divorced, so I'm going to move to Dad's place. So he moves to Dad's place. I don't ever have any problems in my house. Suddenly the water pipe kind of bursts. Everything is like going crazy. My planet leaves.
Show me your address before you leave. I told you that interference energy sets up in bathrooms and closets for some reason. Yin water energy. My clients through the years have reported many leaks and broken pipes associated with bathrooms. And when I find interference energy, if it's been there long enough, I don't know whether the leaks are I don't quite understand why it sets up like that, but it seems to cause water problems in the home. Yes.
I'm interested in what you find when you douse sacred spots. Particularly, I'm thinking of the crop circles in England.
Yeah, I've doused them. I've been there a couple of times. I've been to some of the sacred sites. I found a lot of beneficial energy. And that used to intrigue me, but I'm not interested anymore.
Do you get that pattern that you're talking?
Not if it's in a building, I will. If it's a building and there's people in it, it will. Crop circles, this pattern does go out into neighborhoods and larger areas, even countries, even like I find that through Google Earth. It can be over a land, it can be over property, it just keeps going and going and going. But the main and really an earthbound spirit can even affect the energies of a neighborhood. It's interestingly enough, causing a pattern like that over the whole neighborhood to be out of balance. So I find when I'm there, I just douse and find a bunch of energy. That's all I found. I mean, that's what I haven't really focused on it. To me, what I was saying is, I used to be really fascinated by sacred places around the world, and I wanted to douse them. Now, what fascinates me more than anything is dowsing in homes, dowsing other people's homes from my home or directly in their home. By the way, if anybody is local here, I think most of you are local, Monday I'll have allotted some time to come into people's homes to do clearing and a little coaching if you want, and you would talk to Jill about that. If you want to come to the workshop tomorrow and Saturday, it's 2-day. You won't get the whole thing out of just one day, and it certainly wouldn't work for you to come just Sunday in case you're thinking that kind of thing. Saturday, you'd get enough out of Saturday only, but if you just can't come Sunday, but you wouldn't, but it's Saturday prepares you for Sunday. And so you'd talk to Mary about that, and love to have you. It's going to be at the Masonic Hall, right? Yes. Yes.
Well, I just wanted to share that I saw Joey's picture when the information was sent out, and I had a remote session with him on the phone, and it works. So it was very effective, and I'm very grateful to you. Sorry. That's what he said to me. It wasn't a big, deep, dark thing, but it was something that needed to leave, and I wasn't clear about what it was. And I still feel really blessed. It made a huge difference. So the remote works.
Do you mind my saying what it was, or you'd rather not?
I can share real quick. I'll just be real quick. I know we're over time. I lived in a neighborhood that I didn't particularly like, and I thought I had a robbery, and before that there was some people that were kind of unsavory next door. I was in a duplex. There was some drug use, and so I just thought, well, there's bad energy around, and I had prayed.
And she wasn't liking her house like she would like, and I mean, like you would think, right? You weren't enjoying your home, and.
Well, yeah, I felt kind of blocked, and I thought, well, I just don't like Redwood City. I thought, I'm just not in my sync. It just didn't feel right, and I'm a medium. I mean, I'm familiar with these energies, but it was very, very subtle, and I actually thought it was related to the people that had lived there before. I thought it was negative thoughts.
And it could have been because what we found, if that's what I want to.
So what happened was, I didn't realize it was a spirit. So we found
an earthbound spirit with interference energy connected. And that causes her not to feel as good, and not to be as happy with her home, as happy with the neighborhood, And I heard from her for days. After we had nice exchanges after that because she was just doing so much better.
You were checking in this meeting, and what it felt like was the gray mist was lifted. It felt like the colors got brighter, and this mist was lifted, and I felt lighter and more free to go forward.
And this is a medium who's, what you would think would be in tune to. But you see, we've all got our things that we do. And there are many, many people like her. The people like her, Martha is what you call empathic. She's quite empathic. That makes her very good at what she does, helping others as a medium. But she suffers from it because energies affect her much stronger than more they would an average person. And so thanks for sharing. Yes.
I've had issues with our hot water heater breaking down frequently, and we're on hot water heater number 3 in 9 years, and it seems like it's hard to keep them running for more than several months.
We'll get one with a 5-year guarantee.
Talking about water issues can be caused by these.
What I can tell you, I can't tell you just from. I can tell you if you have intense energy problems in your home that may or may not be related to that. And if you all I need to look at I actually scan your address looking for the Hartman grid and the Curry grid, looking for it to be out of balance. If it is, I know you've got a problem.
Okay, so I can talk to Jill.
Yeah. But I could actually look at your address tonight if you.
That'd be great.
Any other questions before we close? And then we're going to close. Yes, one more. Okay, good question. I used to think it would be a problem. Oh, man, I'm glad I don't live in an apartment complex. I've learned through dowsing many, many homes. The first 10 years or so, I was dowsing mostly in homes. The last 10 years or so, I've been dowsing almost exclusively from remotely. You define your space by living in it. So if you've got a crazy neighbor that's got really bad energies in her apartment, right, sharing a wall with her, those energies will likely not pass into your home. Now, she might still cause problems for you, but it wouldn't be the energy problems from her home. Your home is a reflection of you. The energies in your home are reflections of you. You define your living space by living in it. It's you. As a matter of fact, I think when I'm dowsing around in somebody's home, what I'm doing is dowsing around within the beings of those people that live in that home and are imprinted in that home. Because as you've seen, you extend out into the home. We have all come together in the room pattern. When you blessed yourselves, it made the energies of the room beneficial because it's reflecting out beneficial energies when you blessed an object that you're holding. So anyway, I'd like to one more and then we're gotta close.
Have you noticed any interference from electromagnetic fields, like from cell?
This weekend we won't be dowsing cell phone tower, blessing them. You'll learn to douse electrical fields and make them beneficial. I can tell you this. And I feel very confident about this. And you will too if you come to the weekend. Once you bless and bring all the electrical fields in your home to be balanced and beneficial, they will stay that way, even after a power outage. Cell towers aren't that easy. I haven't learned how to keep those beneficial, but the energies that come into your home through alternating current, even the 220, 110, doesn't matter. Even the bigger appliances, even your smart meter, who's what so many people are afraid of and are so angry about. You bless at one time effectively, the subtle energy, and that's the main thing that affects us, radiating from it will be beneficial, and it'll stay that way.
And a cell phone too?
Cell phone too. We're going to be blessing cell phones this weekend. So that I didn't cover everything we're going to do this weekend. So I hope to see you again. I like to close with a blessing. If it be thy will, may the powers of nature converge to charge each of us in this room with the life force, to bring healing and balance to our complete beings, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, and to draw us ever closer to our highest potential as spiritual beings of light, ever closer to the universal one. Especially to charge each and every one of us with a unique energy frequency that'll help us do exactly what we need to do to improve our lives and improve our relationships with others, and to help us heal for now and into the future for as long as is appropriate. Amen. Thank you so much.